Welcome to this video. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down a 6-mark question within biology. This is suitable for both GCSE Biology Combined and for Triple Science Biology. So I have taken this question from 2024, paper 1 higher. So and this is for Combined Science, from a Combined Science paper. So let's get started straight away. So this is the question. 1.4, the human digestive system breaks down fat and protein in the drink. I guess the question is about a drink. Describe how protein and fat are digested, and you should include the enzymes involved and where the enzymes are produced. So the question has essentially told us everything we need to know already and has given us so many clues. So I'm just going to start by underlining what is important. So protein is important, and fat is important as well to mention. And how are they digested as well? So you should include enzymes. We're going to talk about the enzymes and where they are produced as well. Now, when we're talking about protein, we have to say what it is already and what it's going to be broken down into. So I'm going to start off with that. I'm going to say that protein is broken down by an enzyme called protease. So if you also have a go at this and then have a look at the answer as I'm doing it. So by an enzyme called protease, and then what would you say after? So you have to say which breaks down this protein, and what does it turn into? Protein into amino acids. So you are already getting marks there when you say what is that digested into. So we've already said the enzyme involved. We are now going to say where this enzyme is produced. So this enzyme is produced in 3 places: in the stomach, in the pancreas, and in the small intestine. Okay, so protease is produced in the, and you can say everything you know, in the stomach, small intestine, and pancreas as well. So we have already said where the enzymes are produced. Now, what does that acid in the stomach do as well? So how could we make sure that in the stomach, the protease function is the best it can be? So this is just going that extra level. You can mention that. To go that extra level, you can mention that in the stomach, hydrochloric acid, so chloric acid, and I'm going to show you the mark scheme afterwards, which I have on the right side. Hydrochloric acid provides an optimum pH for protease action in the stomach. So that is what you can mention as your extra bit. Now, the next bit we have to talk about, that's not all the 4 marks. We have to mention protein as well. And in the mark scheme, it does say that to achieve level 2, which is to get about 4 to 6 marks, you have to, there is no way you can't do it. You have to mention fat as well. So you have to talk about both. And if you talked about fat, then you have to mention protein as well to get 4 to 6 marks. You can't just talk about one. So the maximum, if we were to get marks here, the maximum you can say, you can likely get is about 1 to 3 marks. So to achieve 4 to 6, we have to talk about fat as well. So I'm going to leave a line here. I'm going to stop talking about fat. So fat is broken down by, and if you remember the enzyme, it's lipase. Okay, so it's broken down by lipase. So this lipase, what does it break down fat into? So we'll just use the same format that we're talking about for protein, which breaks down, it breaks down by so I like to really be explicit, the enzyme lipase, which breaks down fat into fatty acids and glycerol. Okay, so and glycerol. And this enzyme, so I'm not going to say this enzyme, I'm going to be explicit always. Lipase, I was just about to write this enzyme. Lipase is made or produced, is better to say produced though, is made in the pancreas and small intestine. So I'm going to say and small intestine. I think it's because I'm trying to write quickly. And the small intestine. So then we can also write extra for this, and we can talk about bile as well. But I think we've pretty much hit all the points for 4 marks. But we can also talk about bile as well. So bile is where essentially it gives the right sort of it also like for example in the stomach we talked about hydrochloric acid. So bile does that same thing. It's released by the gallbladder, produced by the liver, and it provides an emulsification of fats. It helps emulsify them. So essentially, there's a larger surface area for lipase to act. And then it also neutralizes the pH. So after it essentially comes out of the stomach, it provides an optimum pH for lipase action. So you can mention all of these things. I'm just going to mention one of these. So bile, produced by the liver, and let's see if we can mention everything, and released by the gallbladder. Okay, so bile produced by the liver and released by the gallbladder helps to emulsify the fat. So what even is emulsification of fat? Emulsification of fat is basically when you've got big droplets of fat, right? The bile essentially helps emulsify it, so it causes it to turn into these small droplets. So it's easier for lipase, the enzyme, to then act on these. Okay, because essentially you've got a larger surface area. There are more molecules of fat exposed, rather than conquering this big molecule of fat. So it's easier. This is the process of emulsification. So that is why it's important, emulsification, to mention this in the answer. So it helps to emulsify the fat, which provides a large surface area, as I've mentioned, for large surface area for lipase to act on. Okay, and also the bile also changes the pH. So the bile neutralizes the pH, okay, from the stomach to provide an optimum pH for lipase to act, okay, or just for lipase, okay, for lipase, that's fine to say. And just remember also that bile is Alkaline. So you can mention this in your answer as well. Bile is alkaline, which is what raises the pH, because the stomach pH will be quite low. So it helps raise the pH. You can even say raise the pH to an optimum. pH for lipase. So essentially, this is also extra stuff you can write to access that really high level. Now, here's the mark scheme. So that is what we've just written. But obviously, I wanted to write this into a format, how you would write this in the exam. So obviously, it's not just bullet points, it's full sentences that you write when you're writing a 6 marker. So just as an overview, protease broken down into amino acids, produced in the stomach, produced in the pancreas, produced in the small intestine. The acid, the hydrochloric acid, provides the correct pH for protease. Lipase, so in terms of fat, it's broken down into fatty acids, broken down into glycerol, produced by the pancreas, produced by the small intestine, and then the bile is produced by the liver, released from the gallbladder, emulsifies fats and larger surface area of lipase. It neutralizes, it provides a larger surface area of lipase and neutralizes the acid to provide the correct pH for enzymes. So let's have a look at this model answer here. And this was part of the report for this exam. So this answer here, in this answer has been written: protease breaks down proteins into amino acids, lipase breaks down fats into fatty acids and glycerol. They are both produced in the pancreas. And the long chain of protein must be broken down as it's too big to digest. Protease breaks down into smaller amino acids, which are small enough to be absorbed into the bloodstream. Lipase does the same, or lipase does the same, breaks down large fats into smaller fatty acids and glycerol. This means that they are small enough to be absorbed into the blood. So essentially here they've repeated a lot of what they said in the first bit. Now, the examiner report says this response clearly describes both fat and protein digestion, so it was able to access level 2, which is 4 to 6 marks. There is sufficient information in the first 6 lines to merit the full award of marks. So even just saying this much, they have said, I think that, yeah, that is 6 lines. They said that that is enough to get 6 marks. So in this case, the student, just by saying this first bit, has got 6 marks, 4 marks in here. So it's that easy. And then obviously this is all extra stuff. You never know what the question will be like, if they will be very strict or if there was extra information needed. So always it's better to be safe and write extra on here. Okay, so I hope this video was useful. I do have classes for GCSE Booster. I have GCSE Booster courses going on, so having a look here, this is a GCSE Booster available during February half term, but there are also other sessions available throughout the half term. And these are also weekend classes, so a lot more convenient. And these will go over science content in detail. So have a look at the link in my channel for a form that can be used to sign up for these. Thank you so much for watching this video.